What it do, YouTube? It's your boy MachineZo MachZody MachineZo, and we coming back with another react. Bro, this time we is reacting to war fronts. Told y'all I was gonna give you an update. Update came fast as fuck, man. The Israel war and Iran war could get much worse, and he gonna explain how. So if you wanna know without the pauses, subscribe to War Fronts. Yeah, I'm the chill life of Zoe. We gonna react to the video. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate all the love as always. And we gonna learn some shit tonight.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of War Fronts.
My boy Mr. Whistler.
For location today. I am on holiday.
We always working.
And I'm recording this video because the world doesn't sit still. You're very welcome.
Nah,
why not give me a
working.
like? Why not subscribe? Look at this dedication. Also, Evan who wrote this was up all night. I wasn't, I was asleep. Poor Evan. Let's get into it. The Israel-Iran war is reaching a fever pitch. From Tehran to Jerusalem, from Jerusalem to Tehran, volley after volley of ballistic missile, kamikaze drone, and manned airstrikes have brought destruction to the
That's a whole fireball. Damn, RP to all the victims. I don't know what to say about this. This is terrible. I can't imagine like being in the States, you chilling downtown, having a good time, and some shit like this happen, bruh. Yeah. God,
Rivals of the Middle East. Ooh. Decades of preparation on both sides have led to this moment. And now that the war is actually underway, the results have been, well, entirely predictable. Hundreds...
Oh my God, bro, what they driving
thousands
out
of dead.
there? Civilians
live in terror of death from above, and there is no sign of an imminent resolution. But as ruinous as the last several days have been, this Middle Eastern crisis still has the potential to grow exponentially worse. And look, we'll admit that it is rather strange when
they just warming up. So this the 15 minutes before the damn game start. You feel what I'm saying? They just hitting jumpers, trying shit. You know what I'm saying? Just bullshitting, little finesse. Cause right now they just dropping missiles like practice. It's just target practice. You know what I'm saying? Preparing for the real shit.
Discussing an undeclared war of this magnitude to say that things aren't nearly as bad as they could be.
That bitch hit smack dab in the middle. Damn. It look like some goddamn, like, you kind of compare it to some like California, Austin shit. You know what I'm saying? You chilling, having a good time, and boom! Big boom, too, bruh. This is nasty work.
But global experts agree that both Israel and Iran are holding short of some critical red line.
Damn, bro, they squad wiped apartment building. That's a family section. That's a family section. That shit like a hospital or something, bro. I don't know what they hit, but whatever they hit, it is no more.
That could take this crisis
that should a map now.
As here at War Fronts, we aren't saying that to be optimistic. We're saying it because there are growing signs that this war is about to ramp up to the next level. And if that happens, well, the destruction that we've seen so far will be remembered as little more than a warm-up. Now, before we begin, my usual caveat, everything that we've discussed in this episode is up to date to the best of our ability through the morning of Tuesday, June the 17th, local time in Jerusalem and Tehran. As we imagine you
so it's probably going down right now.
The situation is evolving so very quickly, and there are no guarantees that the situation at the time of writing will be stable at the time of publication. Specifically, we're watching indicators that the United States is moving major assets to the region, including dozens there-to-air refueling tankers and a second carrier strike group.
Look at this shit, bro. Is this a helicopter? This is a plane? This a drone, bro, and this shit ready to drop some shit on your ass. Bro, they got some shit, bro. The military out here ready to use it.
Gating potential participation in an upcoming strike. Now that news comes at a moment when Russia, China, South Korea, and other nations have suddenly started urging their citizens to evacuate the region immediately, and when US President Donald Trump has urged
Iran should have signed the deal. I told them to sign. What a shame. What a waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. You cannot tell me this is some gangster ass shit, bruh. I don't think there is nobody more gangster than the government. These boys done took out the bosses of the bosses. They make motherfucking... These boys be gangster. The real politicians up there, They are the real gangsters these days, and they can legally get away with shit, bruh. That would make shit gangster. This is a gangster ass way of telling somebody we going to war.
To evacuate Tehran, which is something that the people of Tehran appear to now be trying to do. If the US does choose to take part.
Look at this shit, gang. Why you staring him down like that, bro? He about to swing on him. Like, he say something wrong, I'ma 1-2 his ass, bro. Like, what you got going on, bro? Is y'all ops or is y'all allies?
In a military strike, or has already done so by
allies.
the time you see this episode, then rest assured that we will be back to talk about it. Look,
he waiting for Trump to say the right shit. He said anything say wrong, but everybody damn right, we're gonna come out and bow. But shit, Trump so gangster shit, he boy don't understand. I'm gonna keep saying it. Boy got an assassination attempt under his belt, boy. Real deal assassination attempt. They trying to blow his head off on TV. My boy lived through that. That's gangster. What the fuck? You can't tell me that ain't gangster.
Because if the US does do that,
that's too gangster. You ask me, I don't want that much. Boy, what?
All right, with that out of the way, here's where things stand at the time of writing.
God damn. We need Jesus and a commercial break. Oh,
you're not ready for it.
Of writing. Since the start of Israel's air campaign against Iran, codenamed Operation Rising Lion, Israel has rained down massive amounts of munitions on its historical rival.
Damn.
Starting on June 13th, Israel timed airstrikes to coincide with
this is a real Call of Duty mission. We want all of the nuclear sites wiped out. We don't want nothing nuclear. Drop a bomb on it. They got a nuclear symbol. Drop a bomb on it. Fuck it.
His ongoing guerrilla campaign on the ground.
His face, I'm surprised that shit still
carry out
standing.
acts of sabotage and targeted assassination. When it comes to personnel, Iran's losses thus far have been historic. The leader of the Islam.
Bro, I'm talking the Call of Duty language. I said eliminated. Eliminated is crazy. Folks got eliminated. RP to you, bro. But you playing with that nuclear, bro. I don't know how I feel. I don't know where you going, bro, where you play with that nuclear. But shit. RP to you.
Revolutionary Guard Corps, the chief of staff
eliminated.
and leader of the armed forces,
Eliminated.
well over a dozen prominent
RP to
nuclear
you, bro,
scientists,
but
the
you
chief
playing
of
with
the
the
Iranian
nuke.
intelligence service, and the man who was charged with leading nuclear negotiations with the United States.
Look, bro, you taunting, nigga. They knew you had the nuke. They knew you too much. You supreme leader, bro. Supreme leader of the nuke, bro. I bet they wiped you out so nasty. RP to you, bro. I don't know where you going, but I hope you believed in something.
Critical Iranian military and industrial
infrastructure. They sent that boy to the real Jerusalem,
including the above-ground facilities at the Natanz nuclear enrichment site, several other locations related to Iran's nuclear program, the headquarters of the Revolutionary Guard.
Look at this shit mapped out. We gonna wipe out 1, 2, 3, 4. They probably did this shit in the middle of the night too. They got it. They know where all they shit at. This is crazy. I don't know if people was chilling in there, but that shit, if you was, boy, you was no more. They evaporated your eye.
For numerous military bases and missile facilities, air defenses, ministries of defense and foreign affairs, oil refineries, and even a residence of the supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei. Most recently, at the time of writing, Israel claims that it established total air supremacy over Iran, and while Iran currently recognized about 220 people killed and 1,300 injured, independent monitoring groups suggest that over
1,300 injured, 200 killed. They out here. That's about a whole goddamn elementary school full of people. Holy damn. Whole goddamn class. And they said, we got the air. They beefing about little ass shit.
Thousands could have been killed
already. We run the air.
But the death and destruction in the Middle East isn't constrained to just Israel. Iran has launched retaliatory strikes of its own, using well over 100 ballistic missiles and logging numerous successful hits against Israeli territory. Those missiles are managed straight through Israel's.
Oh, that bitch dropped dead in the middle. Oh shit, boy. What the fuck? I didn't expect that.
Interlocking air defenses.
Woo! This is crazy. Oh my god, bro. Whoa. You looking up like, oh my god, the sky is so beautiful tonight. They about to send your ass to God. Eee, this is nasty work. Oh, they raining on me. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I know I can't run, bro. I'm gonna drop down to my knees, bro. Just spread them out. Take me. This is crazy. Oh,
Haifa, and
they raining. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them motherfuckers in the air, bro. They trying to take out some real shit.
Sheba. Strikes have hit or narrowly missed
Oh,
everything from
they
the
got the air defense system. Okay, cool. Cause this city too nice. You feel what I'm saying? Like, gotta have an air defense system. Shoot the missiles out the sky. W. You feel what I'm saying? Like, air defense. You feel what I'm saying? You know we coming with the counter. I don't know who this is, bro. I just hate seeing like niggas attacking bullshit. I don't know. This is middle of downtown type shit, bro. I don't know who be down there, but I just hate seeing that type of shit, bro.
headquarters to a major oil refinery to several strikes
Oh, fuck! That motherfucker landed! Woo! Did you see how that bitch striked?
that have killed numerous Israeli civilians. While the damage
Nah, nigga, we not just gonna run past that like that was normal, gang.
cannot be compared to the several strikes.
We not just gonna run past this shit like it's normal.
To a major oil refinery to several strikes that have
This is nasty. Yikes.
killed numerous Israeli civilians.
Well, y'all better be thankful y'all live where y'all live. Y'all think gunshots is bad?
The Hamas attack on October the 7th, 2023. This is
the government out here beefing with missiles. They ain't sending 7.62s to your block. They sending bombs. These niggas is too gangster, bro. Chill.
the most impactful series of air attacks against Israel in many years.
Air war is
bringing the ongoing
crazy.
hostilities home to the Israeli people in a way that the nation's adversaries have rarely achieved. Now,
we can go bomb for bomb. You can go bomb for bomb. But going bomb for bomb is completely nuts. These niggas going missile for missile. They trying kill streak for kill streak. Bro, what is we doing?
It'll be a time for a full accounting of Israel and Iran's military operations
in
the future.
2025,
But for the sake of brevity,
summertime.
in today's episode, we're gonna delay a more extensive analysis of the last several days in order to focus on the current state of affairs and the immediate future.
YouTube family, I can't be the only one fucked up about the missile hitting dead in the middle of wherever the fuck that was. Please let me know, am I tripping? Like, is this normal for war? Or is this some new shit that we witnessing? I'm really genuinely asking.
Now, at the time of writing, reports suggest that Iran may be ready to come back to the table.
These boys
With
here
Wall
so
Street Journal
gangster.
reporting that Iran is trying desperately to convey an under-the-table message to cease hostilities. Specifically,
Remember college?
They giving backdoor vibes.
Now college is over.
I ain't even gonna
Here
lie
comes
to
the
you.
student loan debt.
Specifically, Iran seems to be
This some
leaning on
backdoor
other
shit.
Middle Eastern
We
nations
wanna
to
sit
convince
down
the
and
US to
talk.
push Israel
Yeah,
towards a
aight.
ceasefire. Iran's public messaging has basically been the opposite, insisting that the nation would never come to the table while Israel attacks are still ongoing. But it isn't unusual that the nation's private and
Niggas
public
getting
position
missiled
would
on.
be different. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has rejected the idea of a ceasefire.
Look at this gangster ass shit, folks. Folks, all black, bro. I don't know where he got the fire at. He probably got some shit that ain't even a gun. Motherfucking zap gun. Just evaporate your ass. But either way, bro, they doing this casual conversation. Lovely, peaceful talk on how to resolute things to a peaceful solution. While niggas is getting bombed on. Boy, this shit gangster and this shit is crazy. This shit wild.
Anytime soon, instead suggesting
Happy,
that hostilities
laughing.
could ramp up even further.
Boy, your building
The press
on
underscored
fire,
the
gang.
degree of control that Israel now has over Iranian skies.
Damn.
The nation
Boom,
struck
boom.
Iranian state media
These is
while
real
broadcasters
missions.
were live on Monday, while the most recent volleys of Iranian missiles
Damn, this is the definition of give a fuck about none of that. We give a fuck about none of what you got going on. Shawty, we bombing everything. You better get about the building. Trying to make content.
been mostly unable to break through Israeli air defenses. All in all, the balance
They
of power
fought. It's
appears
crazy.
to be heavily favoring Israel. But with so much momentum behind it, Israel appears unwilling to accept anything less than total victory.
Oh, they want domination.
This is one of those conflicts where truly
They want
anything
A, B,
can happen.
and C.
But at least at the time of
Jesus.
writing, it seems highly unlikely that Iran, Israel, and the US are going to meet at the negotiating table anytime soon. Instead, this conflict appears as if it may drag
Nah.
on for several more days at a minimum, and probably
It's sad to say, but they want more blood on it. I don't know. They gotta lose their grandma or something. I don't know who they gotta lose for niggas to goddamn just say stop. But somebody eventually gonna say stop after getting rained on. Maybe they just gonna rain all they bullets and then that's when they'll come to it. Not bullets, I'm calling these bitches bullets. Missiles and bombs. Maybe they'll rain on them bitches and call it quits. I don't know how this
But
shit
if that's the
works.
case, then it's only a matter of time before Israel and Iran begin to escalate. As we said at the outset, as bad as the conflict is right now, there's still
bomb
room
war
for
is
it to get
crazy, bro.
a hell of a lot more dire based on actions that could be taken by either side. Perhaps the most
Bro, if I'm in Iran and I'm 18 years old or whatever, or 20, and I signed up for the army, nigga, unsign me out, bro. What? I'll go walk in the middle of motherfucker where y'all bombing at and stand, fuck it. Cause this shit, that's basically what you're doing anyway. I'll go kamikaze, fuck it. This ain't it, dog. I don't know, maybe they get a Hellcat too. Charger
particularly
too.
devastating step that Iran could take would be to blockade or otherwise take action against the Strait of Hormuz, which separates the Persian Gulf from the world's oceans. The oil-rich nations of the United Arab Emirates,
beefing
Qatar,
over
Bahrain, and
trade
Kuwait are
territory?
completely dependent on navigating
They just
through the
beefing
Strait of
over
Hormuz,
anything.
while Saudi Arabia isn't entirely dependent but relies heavily on the strait and exports more oil through that passage than any other nation. If Iran were to blockade the strait, either by placing naval assets like ships or mines in the strait's waters, or by attacking ship traffic with missiles and drones,
Nasty
Iran
work.
could rapidly spike the price of oil and throw the global economy into chaos. For Iran, a blockade of the strait.
These niggas trying to, now they player hating. So niggas getting rained on, now they want to come and play hate. They just want to block up the shit. Now I gotta pay goddamn $5 for the gas, a gallon. Fuck, I'ma go. They might have to give me a goddamn bike.
Be a desperate play at this stage, almost certain to draw the United States into the conflict to restore economic order, and quite possibly prompting the rest of the NATO alliance to join in. Even the states of the Persian Gulf is
They send a ship to block that shit. I ain't gonna lie, bro. They gonna wipe that shit, bro. That's not some shit they gonna let happen, bro.
Saudi Arabia and the UAE might consider taking their own direct military action against Iran, meaning that in a worst-case scenario for Iran's leaders, the decision to blockade the strait could backfire by allying not just Europe, but much of the Arab world.
I'm still fucked up how I just was looking directly at a missile. And that shit was just coming. It looked like a shooting star. It was a shooting star, alright. That motherfucker goddamn wished your ass right to where you wanted to be, bruh. Whatever you wanted to be, you wanted to be rich. I'm sure wherever, when that bomb hit your ass, you woke up rich as hell.
Literally with Israel. At the same time,
You woke
however,
up dreams
Iran will
completed.
retain the ability to cause chaos in the Strait of Hormuz off of its own coast, long after it
Motherfucker woke
loses
up an
most
elephant.
other offensive military
I don't
capabilities.
know.
If
After
Iran
that
perceives
missile
that
hit,
due to a
nigga,
lack
you
of other
wasn't you
options
no
that the
more.
risk-reward trade-off is worth it, then an attack on the Strait would absolutely present the world with a legitimate and global
They
economic
dicing that
threat.
bitch,
Another
bro.
red line that Iran has yet to cross is the known enrichment of uranium to weapons grade. At the time of writing, although Iran's surface-level facilities at the Natanz enrichment site are thought to be mostly or completely destroyed, the underground enrichment facility at Fordow has yet to be hit. That's a site that
Whoa, they got some crazy shit, bro. This you walking in the middle of this, bro. They gonna take you out.
probably could be destroyed only by direct and highly innovative infiltration and sabotage by Israel, or by the deployment of America's massive ordnance penetrator bombs, widely regarded as the world's most dangerous bunker buster and held exclusively in America's arsenal. Now, at the time of writing,
That's
America
an
has
elite
chosen not to
mission.
engage in
Them boys got boys camped and living in that thing. Whatever the hardest firepower out, Evan pistols and ARs. I'm sure they probably going AR-15. I don't know, whatever go harder than that. But them boys is locked and loaded. They probably got about a stock of ARs laying right beside them. You sleep with the AR. But you ain't getting up in that bunker and trying to C4 whatever they want to C4 up in there. Not without a fight. Not without a bloodbath.
the air war against Iran directly, and so long as that's true, Fordow will likely remain operational, meaning that Iran retains its ability to produce weapons-grade uranium in the span of just a few days. It would take far longer for Iran to actually make a functioning nuclear missile, but even simply presenting the world
I ain't gonna lie, niggas is getting rained on while they just having a simple handshake. I ain't even gonna hold you too. Waking up dead is crazy. Like, you going to sleep, boom, and you just wake up dead. I don't know what you wake up to, bro, but you ain't gonna wake up in the human or in the earth life no more. Last thing you heard in your dreams, you fell off your skateboard. You fell off your skateboard in your dreams and boom, and blew into pieces. And never woke up. I don't know what happened to you after that, gang. One day I'll know, but not today.
weapons-grade fissile material would be a
Not
major
today.
statement by Tehran. It would also be a hell of a gamble, possibly forcing Israel to take a pause, but possibly prompting the US to get involved directly and ensure that Iran can never build a
Who
warhead.
got that footage?
I got
Is
this
he
car
okay?
recently, and look how much I was paying for
They
insurance
picked up
before.
that man camera and put this
I
man
used this
footage on the
website,
internet.
and now look.
And third, Iran could engage in a far larger air attack than any of the attacks on Israel that it's launched to this point. Iran has yet to deploy larger numbers of its more advanced missiles, instead expending mostly older kit, and critically, it has yet to engage in the sort of combined ballistic missile, cruise missile, and kamikaze drone attack that we saw from Iran last year. Iran is widely understood.
They got all the missiles, folks. They got the missiles that drop. They got the one that follow you. They got the one they can control. Oh my God, bro, they going missile crazy. You get a missile. Your city get a missile. Your block get a missile. Your hood get a missile. This is nuts.
Accrued enough data from its 2024 strikes, as well as its strikes thus far in the current exchange, to be able to calibrate hard-hitting strikes that use high volumes of kamikaze drones to soak up Israel's air defenses before punching through with well-timed ballistic missile hits to inflict the bulk of the damage. That would allow Iran to directly call America's bluff, giving the US plenty of time to intervene and take out a slow-moving drone swarm if it chose, but engaging militarily on unfavorable terms and probably being targeted directly by Iran after that. And if such a strike did hit Israel, then Iran could do far greater damage than it's done thus far in the conflict. For Israel, easily the most rapid act of escalation would be to target Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei, possibly along with figures like President Masoud Pezeshkian, Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, and other leaders who have escaped the worst of the violence so far. Israeli leaders reportedly had an opportunity to assassinate Khamenei, but were told not to do so by America's President Trump, although it's...
These boys are too gangster. They too ganged out, bruh. This man got an assassination under his belt, too? What the fuck? They said, nigga, you can't get in, nigga, if a nigga ain't trying to assassinate you. Fuck you talk about?
Clear whether that version of events is an accurate retelling or part of a broader charade that the US and Israel have engaged in to manipulate Iranian perceptions of the situation. Netanyahu has explicitly refused to rule out the prospect of assassinating Khamenei in the coming days, arguing that such an act would end the conflict rather than escalating it, as the Trump team reportedly feared. Short of killing the supreme leader, Israel could more extensively target Iranian oil fields and refineries, its natural gas infrastructure, or both. Those are immensely valuable targets for Iran, but although Israel has struck some Iranian energy assets and vice versa, these strikes have remained quite obviously limited so far. Iran is...
Is he the next target? Crazy. A crazy headline under somebody.
He suspended his production of oil and natural gas, anticipating potential larger attacks after Israel's first wave of hits. But whether they're producing or not, Iran's drilling and gas fields would go up in smoke if they were targeted at scale. Similarly, Israel could target the nuclear complex at Fort Al more directly. Even if Israel weren't able to completely destroy Iran's underground facilities, it could try to make the facilities difficult or impossible to access by surface-level bombardments. Or depending on how extensively Israel has pre-positioned its intelligence assets, it could find a way to sabotage the facility deep underground. That would be an immensely difficult attack to pull off, but then again, this is the same nation that planted thousands of...
Call it Chapo. Well, I don't know. Shit, he probably ain't gonna work for y'all, but shit, them people who work for El Chapo get them tunnels going, boy. Get it all the way up under that shit, and goddamn, that's a crazy ass mission. But shit, them El Chapo boys, they could dig up a motherfucking tunnel.
Pages within the ranks of Hezbollah. And of course, Israel could find a way to get the United States involved. If Washington were brought over the threshold, it would immediately bring to bear some of the most dangerous warfighting assets on the planet. Everything from stealthy strategic bombers and the ordnance they carry to naval assets that could shatter a blockade of the Persian Gulf. It could even bring to bear one of the largest ground armies in the world in an absolute worst-case scenario. But still minor slap on the wrist for Iran to the all-out devastation of Tehran's military assets. Although American involvement would certainly bring Israel closer to its goals and would come with the de facto access to the best of America's military arsenal, it would also come with some risk for Netanyahu, as a directly involved United States could be interested in forcing changes to the ongoing air campaign and would gain new leverage for that very purpose. Again, This situation is evolving very rapidly, and there
Very
are no
fast.
guarantees that any of those red lines would already have been crossed by the time you see this episode.
So W video, man, like a lot is going on in real time. The world don't stop moving. It's wartime. These boys is playing war games. Motherfuckers ain't sleeping. They sleeping when they can. This is crazy. Pray for the victims, man. Pray for anyone affected. They get missiles rained on them. I can't even fathom. I just lost my fucking mind. Lost my hat too. Lost my fucking mind. I just looked dead in the eye of a missile. I just watched a missile take out. I just watched multiple missiles hit the dead center of a motherfucking town. So let me know how y'all feel about that, man. How y'all feel about war? How y'all feel about this situation? Is there gonna be a resolution? Is there anything we can do? What's gonna happen with the U.S. or where you from? Is this gonna affect you? Is this gonna affect you driving? Do you think the gas is gonna go up? Tell me. Let me know. Cause I don't know. But I do know that is the video on gang. I'm Work MachineZo. Chill Life of Zoe is the boy to subscribe to. And that's the video, man. I appreciate y'all for watching. If y'all stay here, I'm out. Peace.